irresistible.
Dan Hawkins from Calgary and Danyck Briere from Sainte-Geneviève, Quebec. In our second preliminary here on this fourth week of men's 10-pin play. We already know that Pat Desjardins from St. Catharines, Ontario will advance to the quarterfinals to play either of these two men. Fourth appearance for Dan. And he opens with the strike as we play for $50 a frame.
Danny Hawkins, the first bowler up. This is an easy game when you bowl strikes.
Yeah.
Here's the man. One of the future and current stars. Never mind future. 1,400 and some points for 6 games. Truly remarkable.
Another one. Great splash. Great action. And so it's up to Dan Hawkins now to match it as we play for $100 here in this second.
Hawkins lines up on the approach. Baby finger goes underneath. Lets the ball sit on it. Look at the whipping action on this ball. Goodbye.
A Dan and a Danyck. Dan Hawkins from Calgary, Danyck Briere from Sainte-Geneviève, Quebec. And we've carried over the first 2 strikes up. Doubles for both as we go to the third. So it's worth now $150.
This is the 4th time on TV for Dan. He has learned quite a bit.
Comes from your center here, the Silver Dollar.
Yes, he does, and he practices a lot. He also bowls at the Let's Bowling Center in Calgary. So he does his lead play here. He's had 216 average. And here's a man, just phenomenal. FIQ Zone Singles Gold Medal winner, and this is one reason why. Watch him whip the bowling ball out.
Oh, and that 10 won't go until the first 3 frames, and $150 to Dan Hawkins. Danyck Briere, member of Team Canada, has been since 1996. Bowled that 1,400 plus, which was a record in Argentina in the American zones. He is also the reigning Canadian champion, but has to settle for the spare there. And he'll give up the 3 frames, and that's the difference. You see, you made that point. That's the difference between this, which is 1 game sudden death, and tournament play.
Tournament play, it's a lot of times the current thing today is about 8-game qualifying rounds, sometimes even 12, and then they'll do match play the next day. So you can make some adjustments. In this particular format, 1 error and you could be out of the game. I am so proud of what this man has done. He started out in youth bowling, 1994, 95, and 93 and 4. He competed and he won scholarships money in both years. And now he's come along, and here he is in the seniors divisions, if you want, and just doing a phenomenal job.
Well, in fact, both Danyck and Dan have been involved in the former TSN Youth Bowling Classic. In fact, Dan won back in 1992.
$1,000 scholarship. Excellent. We were proud to be part of that. Watch now as he's on 3 in a row. Danny Hawkins from Calgary, Alberta, shooting a ball, and he knew right away, no way that was going to happen. As soon as he let go, he just got there too quick. Rhythm wasn't there, and a bowler knows that as soon as they get to the line.
Dan, who is a ground handler for WestJet.
Watch him line up, switch the bowling balls. go across. He'll try and make a shot. He'll try and do a trick shot.
And it'll be the open for him in 4. And we'll give the frame and the first money, $50, to Danyck Briere.
This game is a long ways from over. There's the scoreboard, however. 86 in the 4th for Danny and 68 and a potential 88 for Danyck because he had a double as well and didn't have an open. So you and I have discussed this before where the spares are the critical. Danny Hawkins will try and forget that last split. Rhythm is right. Hey, baby, we got a match going on. Watch this. All the way through, you see him come right over top of his head with the ball and then bring it straight down behind him. Gets the perfect rhythm and timing. Watch the difference here. Straight through, straight back, straight over, and bang. Strike for strike.
And we'll carry over. 6 will be worth $100.
Watch this action, just straight through. The 9-pin get taken out by the ball, all right. The ball deflected all the way back up there. They're both using 15, 16-pound bowling balls, and this is an important shot right here for Danyck. You know he's got the talent and the ability, and this is why he won the gold medal.
Well, his dad is his biggest booster. Michelle, we welcome him to Calgary.
Isn't that interesting to see that both of these bowlers have been out of the YBC ranks? They have each bowled 300 games. They have each got 200 plus averages, and they are the future of the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Way to go, fellas. Keep it going now. Doubles up again. And so the 7th will be worth $150. And it's a must-win time for Danyck. He cannot give it up. Dan Hawkins can close him out if he can pick up the money.
I had a little bit of a talk with Mr. Preddy in between the breaks, and he realized too that he had something wrong with his rhythm on the deal. And he, as I mentioned to him, John, you're such a talented bowler, and you just lost a little bit of your composure in the first frame, and then he wanted to do so good for everybody, just got himself into a bit of a jackpot.
Oh, too much on the head pin. Dan's wife, Catherine, probably knows the bowling center very well here, I would think. She's been with Dan a few times to the Silver Dollar.
Dan is sitting with 133, needs a spare. This is not the easiest spare in the world. Very wise. He's got some tape on his thumb. He just backed off there just a little bit. He has to go right straight through and execute. These balls have a habit of curling just a little bit, and he's got the spare he needed.
That's a good cover. Who knows when those extra pins may come into play towards the end of the game.
Well, and the important thing is he was on a strike. If you leave anything up there, he loses count on the 6th frame as well. Now he's got 133 in the 6th. You have a fellow like this one right here, Danyck, coming up. You better get all of the pins you can. He gets a strike here, he wins 3 frames.
Has he won 3 frames? No. Wrapped it around the 10.
See where the advantage comes when he's in the longer tournaments. He'll adjust a little bit here, and it just keeps going and going and going. This one here, he makes just one minor adjustment or critical error at the wrong time, and he's down 3 or 4 frames. So Hawkins has got 150 in the bank already, and they are going to carry this one forward.
Now we're playing for $200 in the 8th, and again, same situation for Danyck. And he must either win the money or force another carryover.
You notice how Danyck, because he got 2 strikes in a row, how quickly he gained pin count. And so he actually leads. If they were to tie in frames, Danyck would advance because he's got 2 strikes, and then he ends up with a 4-pin lead. So let's see what happens there as he buries this ball.
And bury it he did.
That's a tremendous ball that he just rolled there. Right, there was not a doubt in the world from the time he rolled it over. Hawkins is just taking a little longer in this one, getting set up. There's the scoreboard. It tells the whole story. Now, Hawkins needs to get a strike here. First of all, to match the frame, and don't lose any more pin count. Hit it.
Has he got it? No. And so the 4 frames and the $200 to Danyck Briere, who goes to $250.
Worse yet for Hawkins is that split cost him a lot of points. He's got a difficult spare shot, and he just one ball is all it took. 149 now. He lost a whole bunch of points. He's going for broke. He has nothing to lose.
That's a bad time to get an open. Just stops the pin count. Leaves him at 158 through 8.
Well, you know, giving him this Danyck an opening like that is just like throwing meat into a lion's den. He will jump all over it. Let's hope that Danyck can just keep his composure, stay in the game. He's a long ways from being out of it. But he needs to get marks up there because Danyck's not going to give him an opening at all.
That was a bit of a break for that 6 to go.
Indeed it was. It got hit by the top of the other pin. He's been struggling a little bit with his thumb here. Watch the backswing all the way through. He topped the ball. Did you notice right at the very end, his hands over top of the ball instead of staying underneath it? When he's bowling well there, like this, right behind it, the thumb's behind it, and everything goes in their place, and you get consistency with it.
And so now Danyck Briere has a chance to close out Dan Hawkins and win the match in advance to face Pat Desjardins in the quarters.
Well, Danyck is up on a strike. Sometimes they get into real bad splits, but he's going to get away from that with another strike up there. So a double up gives him 180 something and certainly locks it up.
Sure does. So Danyck Briere, who was the runner-up last year, winning $3,250, will move on to the quarterfinals and meet Pat Desjardins from St. Catharines, Ontario.
Well, it shows you Hawkins started with 3 in a row, struggled a little bit with 2 frames, and this man started with a double, never had an open, and now he's sitting with 187, 217 in the ninth is his potential, and he could go out with a 247 game. And I think you'll see him go for the strikes because he's not going to experiment. Sometimes when they get that far out, he's as loose as a goose right now. When they get that far ahead, they'll try different lines just to see, but he knows he's got a tough competitor coming up against him.
Got it outside. One goes.
That's what I was talking about. They can get into splits. Throw as many strikes, you don't really care sometimes.
Danyck Briere.
233. Now, interestingly enough, he gave up that 1 pin by going there and just rifling the ball. He missed the pin. All that Danny needs in order to get the money is get 19 points.
That's 10 of them. $50 still available.
She's a happy lady. She'll have some spending money.
Is that immediately where you think the money goes? Is that you just look at the wife and say immediately? Is that what happens with you and Lorraine? Is you just gladly hand it over to her?
Well, I gladly hand it over. It doesn't always go that way, but I gladly hand it over to her. And I know that when the ladies are sitting in the side like that, they usually look at that
there
ball.
It is, and there's the final frame and the final $50 to Dan Hawkins.
Got the speed up a little bit. Last ball, Danny has bowled well in the city and has had a 300 games, 792 for a triple.
Way to close it out. It'll be Danyck Briere who bowls at 233, wins $300 to the 208 of Dan Hawkins. And Danyck Briere, last year's runner-up, now moves on to play Pat Desjardins to see who becomes our fourth semifinalist.